Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Atari HMB. How's everyone doing today? Finally glad to get in on the stream and see all of my peoples. How's everybody doing right now? So, let's see. Sorry for being a little bit tardy. About 15 minutes we behind. But that's just because I had to rush through traffic. But here I am today. We're not going to miss this stream. So, just want to give a quick notice to everyone here. So thanks out. Let's give a quick round off here before we begin. And guys, be sure to share the stream, comment, share it with your friends who also enjoy the conversation of power scaling occasionally. We're going to go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper here today. As you can see, Mateo, DBZ, welcome to the stream. Glad you was able to make it. Good quality content made it today. And then we have the Cool Weber and Vegeta Scales and Shakar Brown. So welcome, guys. Glad you guys are able to come through. We were able to match and make the stream on time today. So of course, we are super happy to have everyone here today. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So as you guys may know, now with the way everything is now, we're going to be a little bit more consistent here. Actually, a lot more consistent here on the channel. We're going to be talking a little bit more and making additional videos moving forward in the future. But let's go ahead and continue with our journey. Vegeta Scales, everyone else, Shakar Brown, welcome. So, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to go ahead and get started on talking about this right now. Let's see here. Okay, so a couple people here, and we are going to go live here. Response here. All right, so let's talk. What is this you're seeing in the background? So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of a clearer view. Let me move my head out the way for a moment. So, give me 1 second here. Yeah, I think my head's in the way. So, let me again, just to make sure everything is right. Let me move over for a little bit here, guys. Let me let you peek this here. So as you guys can see, actually, you know what? It is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with it. No, but on a serious note, as you can see here, when we take a look from a distance, what we have right now is a list, and we're going to go over that list today as far as the scaling goes for this particular video. So what are we dealing with right now? Well, let's take a look. We have the tiering system. Now, the tiering system was made by me. I made this tiering system specifically because I wanted to have a more clear-cut understanding with the power scaling community on how we can really organize it versus Battle Wiki may have theirs, but I just made this one as a more visual-based tier list that we could kind of take a look at together and review. So why don't we go ahead and do that and take a look here into seeing what we have as a possibility to look at. So we have building level, of course, which is the general standard. As you can see, my mouse is kind of hovering over it right now. Hopefully you could see that there. So make sure you can see that. So we got building level. That's what we're talking about. Building level, after building level comes, the next one is city level. A bit of a jump. We have mountain level. Okay. Then we have island level. And then after island, we jump into what we call macro terra. Macro terra is a little category I coined together to basically express what it means when you pretty much have something along the categories of, well, for lack of a better word, something that can be country or continental. The reason I have those two together is because some countries as big as Russia are basically continental in size. And then you have, some continents like Australia that are a little bit smaller. Obviously, I just use macro terra just to kind of give like the overall idea. So this is all under the mortal domain. We call this the mortal domain because this is typically stuff that you see from most characters who are mortals. Okay. Hello, Macadamia. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it today. So we are going to be diving in today on this tiering list. Taking a look here. Keaton Warner, welcome. I'm glad you could make it. Hey, the numbers are jumping. The numbers are climbing. Let's go pass this through the algorithm. Hey, all right. So as we look further, we see that we go beyond there. Now we're looking at another category. It's called lunar. As you can see, there's a little bit of a yellow highlight around here. So I'm going to closen up so people can see that better. Okay. And then as you can see, I've gotten closer. So now you guys can kind of take a better look here. The topic is now not going to be based on fake guide. It's going to be based on tiering. So the topic is the tiering system. So the tiering list here, I'm going to put here right at the top. Don't want too much text around the stream board. I want people to be able to read. So we got lunar, planetary, stellar, which is, as you can see. That's really nice. Got lunar, planetary, and stellar. Then we have solar. It's a really interesting category to have. But we have solar, and after solar, we jump into galactic. This is the celestial domain. The celestial domain is typically for characters who sit in that, that corner where they are, they're pretty much a big deal. Okay? Obviously, we have that listed, and we are going to go into our next category. Now, this is like kind of how Versus Battle Wiki has tier 1, tier 2, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is 1. Okay, so mortal domain is 1, and celestial domain. So you either categorize people as mortals or celestials. After that, Gone from Hunter is mortal domain. Yeah, exactly, Mateo, you're getting the idea. So I'm definitely loving it. The Cool Weber, appreciate you for coming through. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna jump right in. Let's take a look. Now we're looking into some interesting things. Cosmic, universal, multiversal, complex, multiversal, and the meta domain. Okay, so as we could see from these categories, we have cosmic, which, as you know, cosmic is going to be, it's a little interesting. As you could see, cosmic is typically something you would look at for, it's a little bit interesting. Cosmic is going to be at certain levels where it's like, hey, it's a beyond galaxy level, but not quite universal. You know what I mean? So this is where we have it. Some people may say multi-galaxy. Multi-galaxy is very vague because are you talking about 2 galaxies or 1,000,000 galaxies? You know what I mean? So without a clear distinction, we call it cosmic tier. Next is universal. Obviously, a lot of everyone who has been in this stream recognizes it, but essentially a character who can deal with the observable universe to a universe-sized structure. And, if you can deal with things like that, then you're in the universal tier. Multiversal, again, this is going to have a range. And the range, you can be like, well, what do you mean, Atari? 2 universes, 3, 5, 20, 100, 1,000, 10 million, 10 billion? We'll explain this as we continue. Complex multiverse for the meta domain, the top of the line, it's when the multiverse gets more complex and there are more tiers regarding it. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to explain the tiers in that real soon. Oh, correct. Vegeta Scales, yes, you are on point. Raditz is in the celestial domain for sure. Let's take a look further. Now we're getting, now it's getting interesting. The extra dimensional is the tier after, then there's hyperversal. After hyperversal, we get into a tier called demi-outer for the divine domain, okay? So the divine domain, it basically has only 3. Extra dimensional, hyperversal, and demi-outer. The gaps between these are, of course, inaccessible. Same here. The gaps between everything after meta domain, the gaps in between are generally inaccessible or, levels of infinity or subsets. That basically just means that jumping your power multiplied to infinity does not get you a new tier. You have to be able to jump subsequently beyond that. So, extra dimensional is basically a numeric dimension because, again, I don't like the term low complex, high, mid complex, high complex. That doesn't really tell you anything. That's just like a jargon category. And I feel like the more labels you give to people, the more easier it is to keep them separated. So, like, if I tell you Goku is complex and multiversal, and then you tell me Yogiri from Instant Death is complex multiversal. You see, the problem with that is, and I'm just going to give you an idea. The problem with this example, right, is that Yoguri versus Goku in that context, right? So let's pull up an image. So the problem with this type of battle here, as you guys could see, is even if I say they're both complex multiversal, it doesn't tell you anything, because Goku is, like, from our last video, for those who haven't seen it, you could watch it. I will leave a link in it later, but there's a video I made specifically about where Goku stands in the Dragon Ball tiering system, or the tiering system in general, after understanding the Dragon Ball cosmology. Generally speaking, mid-end Goku with no assumptions, no Dragon Ball Daima, anything like that, should be 9th dimensional, which is high complex multiversal level, really just only 2 tiers away from hitting hyperversal, right? So at that point, Yugure from the story has been shown, from what we've read from the novels, to be complex multiversal at a 6th dimensional level. Okay? So because of that, Goku sits at 9th. Now, people think, oh, they're both complex. No. You have to understand that even if you took Yogure's power and you gave him an infinite multiplier or drink that made him go infinite, Goku would still be, let's see, 6. Okay, so Goku would be 7, 8, and 9. Goku would be 3 infinities beyond Yoguri. So even if Yoguri increased his power by an Aleph Null, he wouldn't even be able to he wouldn't even make Goku flinch. Okay? That's what we're saying. So, like, even if you gave Yoguri the most powerful, even if I gave Yoguri a drink that allowed him to transcend the 6th dimension into the 7th, and he was infinite 7D, his strongest attack would not even tickle Goku, would not even leave a damage or a scratch. That is the inaccessible gap between the tiers. People forget that. So that's why I made this category for extra dimensional rather than just complex multiversal. Because Yoguri could be somewhere here, but Goku we might have somewhere a little bit beyond. Okay? And I'll explain that. Okay. Then we have hyperversal, self-explanatory. A lot of people know what that is. Once you hit into like around 11 to 12th dimensional areas, you start to have, you're able to, 12th dimensional area, typically you're able to discuss in that, because that's beyond the M theory generalization. And then there's demi-outer. Demi-outer, this is an interesting one, and I'll explain that. Correct Vegeta scales. Daima raises the cosmology. But, so let's talk about this, guys. What is demi-outer? So demi-outer versal is essentially a category I coined, and Roz included. Oh shit! Yo! You need to relax, brother. Damn. Oh, shoot. Yo, fire's in the chat for Roz coming through with the $50 donation. Let's give it up. Dang, Roz, you are always, dang, I really greatly appreciate that. That really threw me off guard. You threw me for a loop there, buddy. I have to say I'm truly grateful for that. Man. All right, so Roz left a link here. I'm going to be taking a look. I'm going to put the link on the other screen, and then we are going to go to the site to see what is there. And all right, so we have 2 videos that we are going to watch. So I'm going to clear this tiering system, so that actually I'm going to clear up my explanation, so that way when we watch these videos, we can actually give further context. And then Roz, thank you so much. I'm definitely going to play it. Just give me just a second to catch up with everything here. Let's take a look. Wow. So yeah, definitely, again, shout outs to Roz for that crazy Donkey Kong Bonanza donation. That was insane. The dude had the Master Sword. That is insane. Wow. Thank you so much once again. Moss, aka Joker, welcome to the stream. Do appreciate you for coming in. Thank you again for everyone coming in. King of the Lions, welcome to the stream. So let's so Demi Outer. Wow. Sorry, Roz made me almost die. God dang. Okay. Demi Outerversal. So explaining Demi Outerversal, because we're going to get into that in just a minute. So Demi Outerversal basically, guys, is the ability when a character has the qualifications of Outerversal, but still follows conventional limitations of a Hyperversal character. So for example, certain characters are not completely definitively Outerversal. So because they don't surpass all frameworks of dimensionality, but they are beyond the general alepphs that are required in Hyperversal, then we just call them demi-Outerversal because they're like halfway there. Not fully, but they're at least halfway there, where it's one more push. And because the way we look at it is, it'll make more sense when I go to the next category, which, as you can see, is right here. Okay? So the next category is beyond that. Beyond the divine domain, we have Omni Absolute. Okay? The Omni tier is essentially true Outerversal. Now, what is true Outerversal versus Demi? Well, the difference is Demi Outerversal is basically a character, let's say like Multi-Eternity. Multi-Eternity from Marvel basically goes beyond all, as it's literally stated, he's transfinite, so he has no numerical number of dimensions in that context. However, has been bested by the Beyonder, even by numerical values. Beyonder was stated to be millions of times stronger than all the Marvel multiverse combined, implying they are not true Outerversal. Because true Outerversal is essentially a tier where numerical values aren't really representations you can use to overcome somebody. Because at this point, your infinite temporal dimensions, infinite spatial does not matter, because that framework cannot constitute where your power sits. You are beyond math itself. So this is why Roz and I had said before, this tier is essentially close to boundless. The only reason it's not boundless is because boundless has specific categories and conceptualization that they can control. So here is the definitive DPI, aka definitive power index, and we'll talk about a little more. Now, the last thing I need to highlight here, for those who don't know, is I need to highlight these segments here. So for those who don't know, this area I'm clicking on and highlighting, the minus, circle, and plus, it's an interesting thing. This actually got reversed. So the plus is going to be red, the blue is going to be minus, and yellow is going to be neutral. This means low, mid, and high. But it's going to be the opposite colors when you see the real list. Okay? So, without delaying, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the video Roz showed. So, we're going to take 3 minutes to do so. And then we are going to go from there. So, let's take a look at the first video that I have that was sent to me. And then we are going to view that together overall. Again, shout outs to Roz. And let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Okay. So that's Sargon. Okay, so floating rocks. Okay. Oh.
Forgot one. This is technically first in timeline.
Oh my gosh. A $20. Roz, you are on a roll right now. Thank you so much. Chat. More fires. We need to give more fires to Roz because that is amazing. He is coming through with the love. I am so grateful for that. Thank you so much, Roz. Really appreciate the donation and the support for the stream. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are going to definitely take a look at this as well. Let's go ahead and open that bad boy up as well. This is the first in the timeline. So we're going to start with the video Roz just sent. So we'll have about 5 minutes worth of videos we're going to watch, guys. So if you want to take some downtime to grab something, you can. I'll look at the context of this a little bit overall. Let's go ahead and review it.
I've lost too much to trust the Samorg again.
Okay.
Can't believe in such a cruel god anymore.
Okay.
With our powers combined as one, imagine all the good we could do for humankind.
No human is meant to wield such power.
I am no mere mortal. I am the first immortal. Saga, you must understand. The Samorg's powers showed me the future.
Okay.
I saw our kingdom engulfed in flames, our people suffering for nothing, Persia vanishing, corrupted from within. We can stop it, Sargon. We can build a world free of deceit, lies, human weaknesses. Help me save Persia. Give me your powers.
No.
Dang.
I am time and space. I am creation. And I will create a new perfect empire. You should have joined me instead, Sargon.
Wow. Okay. So now we come to this.
Everything. Mount Carve. The settlers. There's nothing left. No immortals. No one.
Hold on. Let's say that again.
Power destroyed everything. Mount Carve. The settlers.
Interesting.
Nothing left.
This is the Prince of Persia Lost Crown, if I recall, if that's the name of the title. Isaac Bell. Thanks again, everyone. So we're just watching this for further context. Thanks to Roz's $70 donation. Again, shout out to Roz. Wow.
No one. Only the void remains.
Only the void remains. Only the void remains. So when you say void, so this is why Prince of Persia goes into some crazy scaling, because when you talk about somebody destroying everything, there's no immortals, no mortals, there's no levels of time or space. There's just a void. Like, void is one of those dangerous slopes. It can either mean zero dimensional, or it can literally be chaos itself. Meaning there's either no dimension, meaning X existence, or it can be everything within one. And that's what makes it really interesting. Let's dive in further. Night can't be born without darkness.
Mighty Simorg, you were the one gifting me life time and time again. Why did you choose me rather than the others? I'm not sure I understand.
Interesting. Interesting. He who accepts the universe becomes the universe. Be the universe. Wow, so
It's too late. I don't exist anymore. I couldn't stop Varen.
whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, hey, yo! He doesn't exist? Huh? He doesn't exist? So if he got Roz, clarify just with a yes or no. Just a yes or no. Keep it simple, because we're gonna watch it next. Are you telling me that before, like, let's say before Sargon got the power-ups from the Simorgh, are you telling me that, quite literally, are you telling me that if this guy Hakai'd him and he didn't go to the afterlife, or are you are you telling me, listen carefully, people, are you telling me that if this guy erased Sargon out of existence, that he would sit there and just have a conversation with the Simorgh and just be like, oh yeah, I don't exist no more. Like, how could you be conscious in non-existence? What? Hey, what's up, Top Hat? How you? Oh yeah, Macadamia, welcome again. How? Isaac Bell, good question. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but what? Even you heard that? Even my dog was saying, what? Okay, hold on. I need to hear that again. I'm getting a little too hype.
What if it's too late? I don't exist anymore.
He doesn't exist in... Wait, Roz, are you telling me he doesn't exist in any timeline, and that's why there's so many different versions, that he's erased in every conceptualization of existence? Please tell me. Please say no. Because if that's the case, that is the most broken thing I've ever seen. I haven't seen a character do this since Lucifer Morningstar or The Beyonder, where they got erased from death and then just said, nah, I don't want to. Oh my god, he just said yes. Now you gotta listen. Chat, listen to that again. Listen to what this dude said. He said, what?
What if it's too late? I don't exist anymore.
This is one of the most propelling lines I've seen in any power scaling aspect, and that's what makes Sargon from Prince of Persia one of the most intricate characters, who I think quite literally might be the same level as pre-retcon Beyonder. Because the dude literally said, before he even got his powers from the Simorgh, he's having a conversation with the Simorgh and says, I don't exist anymore. And they show all his variants of him in different timelines that ever exist. And there is context for those who don't know. I did confirm the Lost Crown does explicitly say there are infinite possibilities upon infinite impossibilities. I don't know how, but there's impossibilities and possibilities. And it is explicitly stated that Sargon is saying, literally, I don't exist anymore, yet is still conscious. His consciousness literally, this means that even the Queen of Kala, who could put him on the negative 13th dimension, where nobody remembers who he is, Sargon could still be conscious, which is literally the craziest thing. That means he technically has negative dimensional existence. So you ever heard when we say someone is fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional? Well, since he doesn't exist on this scale, you can argue he's negative dimensional at the same time. That is the craziest conceptual philosophical aspect that no one has really approached in power scaling, don't you guys think? Because how many comic books have you ever seen where a character is literally in the essence of non-existence talking to a primordial potential universal god? None! There's probably I could count on my hand probably how many. That is insane. That is insane. he absorbed 10 feathers. Oh my god. And so essentially, if he absorbed 10 feathers, each feather has infinite power. So that means, let's see, so if he's three-dimensional, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 3, 13. So he's 13th dimensional, because each feather allows him to transcend infinity. We'd have to assert they're transcending, because infinity plus infinity plus infinity is just a bijection. But he's getting general power, not specific power stratus. It's not like he's getting infinite time and then infinite space. He's just getting infinite power already added to that. And even as a 13th dimensional being, in terms of like his potential power, he literally is still a lot, which tells you that even if he was a negative 13th dimensional aspect, he could. That's ridiculous, man. I quit. That is insane. Yeah, Shakar Brown, I agree. This is probably the most broken character Roz has ever showed me, and I'm not even trying to glaze him, but first impression, this is very impressive. This is very impressive. This is groundbreaking because, like, it's the most conceptually advanced metaphysical statement that's ever been made in a mainstream game. Okay? Like, this is beyond the overvoid of DC. Okay? And I'll explain, but let's continue.
I couldn't stop Varun. Still save him.
Wow. Wow. So let's talk about the next one. And then we have this. Incredible. Wow.
Be the first to witness the birth of a new world, Saga.
Varn, time and space.
Varun, you are mistaken. The world you have in mind cannot exist.
I am the one and only, the creator. A new world is not up for debate. It manifests itself for all.
Okay. And then they have a battle. They have a battle in a space that doesn't exist. So they have a battle in a meta-ontological space that doesn't exist. Yet we know that we know that they have infinite feathers on the Simurgh, because the Simurgh is infinite in size. It can shape its size, but it's truly a cosmic infinite being. And with infinite feathers implies infinite hyperversal, like infinite aleph. So, because each feather is infinitely transcending the prior. So it's beyond infinite hyperversal. It's more of a complex hyperversal, a demi-outer versal, if you will. So this is a perfect example of demi-outer. but you're talking about a guy who took the heart of the Simurgh and another guy who can surpass the Simurgh. Jeez, man. But yeah, this opens up an interesting conversation. It really does. Hey, Michael Braxton, thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate you for coming through. You have a good night. And this is him in game. Yeah, that is insane. So yeah, so chat, as we can see, there's some insanity that we are seeing right now. Let's continue with this conversation. Let's continue with this though. So as we know, with that being said, we obviously have Omni Absolute, which is boundless, and then we're gonna move forward to the next category. Bam! Here we go to the true tier list. Let's go ahead and take a look. So in the true tier list, we have the following. The Mortal Domain. So this tier list is not complete, but I'm going to do a random anime character generator, and I'm going to have chat participate with me to discuss where they think a character belongs. Right now, this tier list is still in the work in progress. This is based on my standards for what needs to be required. Now, let's take a look. Building level. The blue represents low. So we have Revi, Rebecca Lee, and Tanjiro. So middle, or yellow, could be any building. A typical building you would see is like a large foundational building you may find a decent size in a city. Okay. It's not a skyscraper. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, he knocked the godhood out of Varum. That is insane. We'll have to definitely take a look at that. Thank you again for sharing, Roz, and thanks again for the $70 donation. Really do appreciate you for coming through. Always a loyal supporter. And I do want to take a look here and say, so if somebody was in the red, they would be like skyscraper. But Tanjiro, I wouldn't say he's somebody who cuts down skyscrapers, but he is definitely somebody who could cut down an entire building, right? And Revi is not someone who would even destroy buildings at all. She's on the lower end. So you could go from wall level all the way up until low, like a shed or a house, things of that nature. Nothing too crazy, okay? Then we move to city level. We have Neferpito. Okay, so we know that Uvogin is able to destroy what we call a small city block. Neferpito, though, is a threat to an entire city, not just a civilization, but it's believed that if she conjures up enough Nen with the proper ability and her overall reserves being higher than even Netoro, I have reason to believe that she has the destructive capacity and force to destroy such a thing. Keep in mind, Meruem, taking just the power of both of his royal guards, was able to destroy a mountain, and a mountain is significantly larger than a city. Okay? So that being said alone, I think that this is reasonable to scale Neferopito based on that. Gon himself, who's much weaker, was able to punch an ant all the way to I think it was NJK. It was one of the other countries, and like literally Gon punched somebody to another country, which is hundreds of kilometers away. So that's very impressive. Yujiro Hanba, stopping an earthquake with his bare hands. I did a very formal calculation. I did not get him to island or mountain level because the earthquake he stopped, we would have to go with the subduction zone and the typical earthquake of Japan. Given that he had enough force to stop and interrupt the seismic activity, it could have just only stopped the surface level that we seen that was interrupting their battle for most of Tokyo, but to still do something of that nature will put him at the higher city levels, which means that if he went into any city right now, he would pretty much level it. He's basically very close to touching the mountain level, and I wouldn't be surprised or upset if anyone put him in mountain tier as well. Yujiro Hanma has shown some promise there. Next up, we don't have anyone listed on Mountain or Island yet, but we have Esdef, a macro terror threat. Esdef is a macro terror threat specifically because she has some feats that she performed. This is a prep time feat, but we're not really accounting that. We're accounting for people who has performed feats overall in the series. Let's take a visual look at what Esdef has accomplished and see how it stacks up overall. So as you can see, Esdef performed this feat. If you guys want a clearer picture, I can provide one. Let's do this. So this is overall her ability and technique, which overall reached the entire cascade of the entire northern point of this country. As you can see, the entire country mainland is being covered, and this is very consistent. Remember, this is consistent to Asdef overall, because even when Shikotaiza was able to release an attack that had enough attack potency to create at least a mile deep crater or two, despite Shikotaiza's awesome power there, Shikotaiza still got deliberately one-shotted by Tatsumi. Okay? So, because of that, we have reason to believe. Now, for those of you who don't know, Esdef literally got punched by Tatsumi. So somebody who can deal with a multi-mountain to an island level character, literally one-shot an island level being, whose durability should match its attack potency for the most part, even at his most evolved state, did not really have a chance against Esdef. And yeah, Esdef kind of cooked him. And from what I recall, there was even moments where she found it cute and adorable when he hit her. So Esdef is an absolute monster. She absolutely deserves to be in the large country level, almost continental levels of tiers. She's very powerful. Even if you say without prep time, I do agree that even without prep time, she should casually have the attack potency equivalent to destroying a large island or so. So even then, I think her tier is reasonable. Sanji is obviously within reason. Sanji's in the Macroterra area. He's a high Macroterra, meaning he is multi-continental. He's not quite there where I would put him on moon level precisely, though I actually might shift him to moon level soon. I think he might be moon level, to be honest. But just to kind of give people an idea of the understanding of where I'm coming from, the multi-continental is very clear because he scales above Don Chen Zhao, who obviously we know can destroy a continent. Sai, Drill Dragon Nail does develop that in his martial leg. They do say that verbatimly, for those who are naysayers, we do get verbatim confirmation that, as they said, I've seen your foot is powerful enough to split the continent of ice. So he could split the continent of ice, and he was far weaker than even Zoro was and Sanji at that point. And so by calculating the Katakuri and the other feats, Sanji should at least, even if you guys don't assume they're completely at a Yonko level, they're at least multi-continental. And that's actually a mid-end. Now, keep in mind, everyone here is mid-end. Okay? So, yeah. Anyway, comments, questions so far for the mortal domain? None. I see no comments or questions for the mortal domain. Let us continue. All right, guys. So continuing on beyond the mortal domain, we go to woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! We get some interesting components in the celestial tier. Starting off in the lunar category, we have Kazuma. Kazuma is quite strong from Escraed. He did fight Ryuho. Now, this is a shared feat. But to perform a feat like this, and given the calculations we see in the later comics when they destroy the asteroid, Kazuma is actually on the lower, it's extremely low ends, but he does have the capacity of being arguable in that range. So Kazuma does perform an insane feat where he quite literally is a being who could punch out an attack so strong it's seen from orbit that covers the continent of the top half of the world. So that being said alone, there's also the fact that he has some durability negation hacks and additional abilities, and he does go further and get stronger in the manga specifically toward the end. So that is something to consider, though keep in mind the manga came out after the anime. It just has additional content to it. So the anime is 1,000% more canon than the manga in this context. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up there. Negi from Negima. Negi had a asteroid feat that he was able to perform, and given the size of the asteroid and materials it was made of, and given Negi's additional magic capabilities, it's possible he could scale to the lower levels of lunar energy and reserves, especially given how casual he could be with a lot of his feats. That being said, we jump up to the next tier. Our next tier we're going into, oh, okay, 1 second. Where do you have Saitama, OG comic version? That's a good question, just a guy who loves fiction. So, in my opinion, Saitama is somebody who you have to discuss carefully. I feel Saitama is somebody I would put, originally in the comic, I would put in this webcomic version planetary. But I don't know where to put him in terms of the recent Murata comic. If the contents of the OG webcomic are consistent, then I would say he should at least be stellar. I'll explain why. But anyway, in the planetary tier, we have Raditz. Raditz is self-explanatory. Again, even if you were high lunar level, because none of these guys are high. If they were a high lunar level, the high lunar level attack would not even damage Raditz or his leg hairs, obviously choke. And even then, it wouldn't damage him. Raditz is still strong enough to destroy a planet. Now, why is Luffy in the mid-planet level? Well, Raditz, I would say, could destroy a small planet just based on what he's accomplished, such as Mars or Venus. Destroying Earth could be in his capacity, but I wouldn't say for sure. I could put Raditz higher if we consider his Great Ape form, but I don't know how people would feel. If I were to put Raditz higher, I'd put him in the star level for the Great Ape form or Stellar. So maybe we could update Raditz because he does have a Great Ape form, hypothetically. So if if you guys think that Raditz should be put in Stellar tier, leave some fires in the chat, and I'll consider doing that for the next time I update the tier list. Next up is Luffy. Luffy, obviously, we know why he's planetary. He's way stronger than Chinjao. He absorbed the Gear 4. He's basically as strong as his Gear 4 self in his base when he fought Katakuri with Snake Man, and then overcame that gap again when he fought Kaido. He fought Kaido in his Gear 4 form and surpassed his Gear form post Katakuri fight in his base form, and then added Gear 5 to that. Now, it's been explicitly stated that Whitebeard could destroy the world. The One Piece world has been confirmed to be the size of Jupiter, actually arguably the sun, a small star in that relativistic aspect. But we don't really have true numbers. We just know that that's how big they are. And if Whitebeard could destroy such a planet, I think they meant actual fragmentation and destroy because of the nature of his devil fruit. Because of that, I think that it's fair to say that Luffy is absolutely in the large planet level, which large planet is actually red. But because I don't think Luffy could destroy the One Piece world as efficiently, I'm gonna put Luffy in the mid. Now remember, Whitebeard is a threat to the planet in his old age while sick and dying. Now remember, Kaido and Big Mom are not afraid of Whitebeard. They think they can beat him, and with all due respect, they can give him a run for his money. Okay? Big Mom threatens Whitebeard. So, for those who don't know, Big Mom was ready to throw down. If it weren't for her idiotic rebellion, I would have been able to crush Kaido, Red Hair, and even Whitebeard long ago, and by now. So Big Mom is extremely strong. This would imply she has the ability to square up with Kaido and square up with Whitebeard, even in his old age, implying that she has planetary capabilities. And she said long ago, obviously long ago in a sense of like when Red Hair became a Yonko. So not that long ago, but still. To be able to do that shows that Charlotte Lin is extremely powerful. So if Charlotte's that strong, and Odin from One Piece could potentially, if Odin from One Piece is strong enough to beat Kaido, okay, then that explains the next category you're going to see, because we already know they're large planetary, or at least planet level, because they're not at the same category as Whitebeard. Then we have something interesting. The One Piece scaling changed, because one technique that we did see from a base Gold Roger was we saw the Divine Departure. This is just using a baseline hockey attack. He wasn't trying. He wasn't amped up. Okay? So, because of that, that implies to you Gold Roger was not even truly amped up all the way. This is important because this tells us as the users that Gold Roger one-shotted a planet-level being, no difficulty, as just like a simple LOL moment, and was smiling and having fun. Then when Whitebeard came, he turned up his advanced hockey, which has some durability enhancements, and is clearly much stronger. So the fact that Roger actually started trying now tells you Prime Roger and Prime Whitebeard would one-shot the current Yonko, or at least the current Big Mom or Charlotte in the current Kaido, implying they were literally the only two, plus Sengoku and Garp, who could rival each other. They were on a completely different tier and just insane. So, because of that, that's why Gold Roger deserves the stellar tier. I do believe he is low star level, and I will not back down on that statement, and I'm confident where I stand. And if you guys agree that Roger is star level, go ahead and put a little star in the chat. I think I have argued his case reasonable enough. Now let's read and catch up with chat. I mean, honestly, even Demon King Piccolo said he could destroy the earth, and then Piccolo said he was 1,000 times stronger than Kami and the other combined, so yeah. True. Though I think that was a bit of hyperbole, because King Piccolo's power level did not match his actual statement. Though you could say attack potency-wise, he might actually have that, because power levels don't scale linearly. I think it would be high-end for Raditz, since we don't have any feats, at least we know, of him and his Great Ape. We do know he would be 12... We know he'd be 12,000 in his Great Ape, so that we know. Nappa, I wouldn't put Nappa at stellar. I would put him at high end of planetary in the red, but I wouldn't put him stellar quite yet. There's a particular reason about that, but again, we would have to have that discussion a little bit deeper, as we're going to have another where it's called the tier placement. Now, next up we have Yusuke Urameshi. Yusuke sits in this tier specifically because he obviously is much stronger than Sensui, who is a threat to the planet, even on a fragmentation or multi-continental level. Sensui, I did the math. The Yu Hakusho has power levels later discussed. For those who don't know, Yusuke was able to match Yomi. Hokushin did beat Yusuke while in base, and for those who don't know, Hokushin does have an official power level or Reiki level, and it is something you can actually scale. So if you guys want to see, here it is. So as you can see, Hokushin's power level was stated to be 36,000 in total, but his offensive power was 5,900. 5,900 is impressive, but I think a lot of people are underestimating the fact that that's just for that particular power level. Offensive demon power is something. Now, Hokushin hit harder than Yusuke too, and Sensui, because he found Yusuke so easy to beat. He said, even as a D class suppressed, I'm still more skilled than you overall, Yusuke. And he whooped Yusuke's behind, even while suppressed as a D class, which is insane. That's like me being a wall level being. That's like me being a building level person versus a planetary being, and said, I'm just so much better than you that even if I suppress myself, I'll beat you. So you could argue Hokushin was 3 times stronger than Yusuke, maybe even 4. But I don't go there. I just say 2 times at most, because some people just, people are going to be skeptical. So some people might even argue 10 times. I mean, think about it. Like, guys, do you think it's only a 2-time? Do you think Hokushin is only 2 times stronger than Sensui and Yusuke if he literally came in as a D-class demon and bodied Yusuke alone, just as a D-class, because he's just that much more skilled? Or do you think maybe he's just 5 times stronger, but he's like thousands of times more skilled? Like, how do you guys feel about that, I think with the statements and narrative about Piccolo and the Saiyans, Raditz should be able to destroy Earth. I agree. That's why I have him there. But yeah. Hokushin, nonetheless, should be there. And when you look at the case of the later characters, such as Ryzen being 424,000, Let's do quick math. So if we do 424,000 divided by 5,900, Ryzen verbatimly is 71.86 times stronger than Hokushin. Hokushin is at least double whatever Yusuke was, and that should make him 143 times planetary. Very, very good. Definitely around the area to destroy Jupiter and much more. Especially because this is base energy. Yusuke's spirit gun would increase his power by 5, meaning, and because it's a many-fold increase, that means Yusuke should at least bare minimum dish out 718 times the attack potency needed to blow up the Earth. And if you think otherwise, Yusuke actually unlocks an equivalent to Sensui's sacred energy, which Sensui said even if Yusuke had 10 times the spirit energy, he would not have it be anywhere near comparable to his sacred energy, because sacred energy is like comparing mercury to water, or like comparing God Ki to regular Ki. The abundancy is so great, so even if we go by another 10 times multiplier, if you do want to argue that, which Yusuke, of course, and by the way, Yusuke does go in his demon form against Yomi, so he does close the gap there, and we do know his demon form is 10 times stronger, because Yusuke's spirit energy does hit 5. Yusuke did say his spirit energy was closer to Shura. Shura was confirmed 500,000, and Yusuke said he matched that. And Yusuke got his demon form, which again is confirmed in the Japanese to be an order of magnitude above his base. Meaning Yusuke should have been 5 million when he fought Yomi in actual battle. Because these are Yomi, Ryzen, and Makuro while suppressed. Okay? So if we go by the anime adaptation, Yusuke should have hit 5 million. You could argue even 50 million if you want to throw in that 10 times multiplier on top of that. So if you do want to do that, you can argue Yusuke is 7,000 to even 70,000 times Earth level power. But regardless, I think enough has standard. Yusuke should have this capability. He has plenty of feats that also back up this level of scaling, considering Demon World in statements has as many countries as there are stars in the sky. Sukuna I have a little bit above Yusuke, specifically because there's a lot of components. Now, I don't have enough time here because we are pressed for time, and I'll definitely follow back up. But Sukuna has specific reasons why I have him here at the stellar level. There are, and this is just regular attack potency. If it was hacks, I would put Sukuna in cosmic if it came down to hacks, because I don't know if Joker is here, but there has been statements in Jujutsu Kaisen when dealing with even 4th dimensional level attacks and beings. That is intense, and I find that really interesting. Higher end of the stellar level, I actually put Naruto. Now, I know I talked a lot against Naruto, and people think, Tari, you're talking about Naruto? Yes, I did put that here, okay? Now, I did purposely put that here for Naruto. I think Naruto is in the higher ends of Stellar. Okay? Why do I think Naruto is the higher ends of Stellar? Clear enough, many dimensional feats, capacities, characters who could create dimensions such as Kage and Momoshiki, and also being able to collapse them, or implied implications of absorbing. Momoshiki absorbing the energy of a star. I'd say Naruto has the ability to destroy a dwarf star, which is thousands of times more powerful, meaning, yes, you guys are here and live. Atari is admitting that as far as raw attack potency goes for Naruto's most potential attack, Naruto should actually have the scale to be able to produce at least dozens of times more power than Sukuna, Yusuke, and Gold Roger combined. But that's just off of what we've seen from the Otsutsuki and the consistency of the Naruto guides in conjunction with his KCM forms and multipliers that we have not even that I didn't even include into that. Because Naruto technically didn't even fight Momoshiki in a hypothetical 6-path mode if he truly was going crazy, or at least from what I remember. But yeah, Naruto is pretty insane. Oh yeah, absolutely. So just a guy who loves fiction, there's going to be a lot. Gonna dip, have fun. I'm going to continue reading my... Okay, you enjoy. Donaz, thanks for coming through. RJ, thanks for the $2 donation. I do appreciate it. Gojo versus Hero X. I would love to get into that, but unfortunately I did not see Hero X yet. That is relatively new, but if I do get an opportunity, I will watch it and then give you my opinion on that, RJ. So stay tuned for that. Guys, let's get some fires in the chat for RJ. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, going soon to the Celestial Domain. We have the North Kaioshin, who is going to be covered here for the solar system level. I think he's solar system level. I actually think he's more than that, but this is going specifically off of the manga, okay? Manga Kaioshin specifically, I put at solar level, but honestly, he would be cosmic, logically, okay? He'd be cosmic or at least high galactic because of the feats that we've seen from Frieza and the original Toei animation. And if we ignore that, even in the manga, Goku should definitely, through the preponderance of scaling, be higher in the solar ranges. But I'm going to leave it at that because, again, North Kaioshin is as strong as Mastered Super Saiyan Goku in the Cell Saga, according to the El Manga Legendario. So we'll see about that. Beyond the Celestial tier and continuing onward, guys, is our boys, the Meta Domain. We have Ichigo Kurosaki at Cosmic, Cell at High Cosmic, Seiya at Multiversal, and Kid Buu at Complex Multiversal with Sinbad at High Complex Multiversal. Sinbad I put at High Complex specifically because there's not enough evidence to suggest he really is infinite or hyper. A lot of people just make suggestions, but the gods they were talking about that he would keep ascending beyond were not infinitely stronger than one another. They just had different levels of authority. If you read the whole chapter, which I bought the entire volume, that is actually the context. So don't be dismayed by what other people have been saying about that. Kid Buu is self-explanatory. He's a threat to the entire macrocosm. Held back the spirit bomb, which had the force of the whole macrocosm. That's self-explanatory. Cell, I did a whole video explaining that. And Ichigo, Seiya is self-explanatory. If you know anything about Saint Seiya, it's very clear he's lower multiversal. I can even say he could get into the complex, but I want to look into Saint Seiya a little bit more. If there are Saint Seiya fans who do watch this video, give a comment in the comment section below without glazing, but like telling me exactly where you would put Seiya in that case. So, finalizing everything because we're pressed for time. I do want to say that I do have Ichigo in the cosmic tier, specifically because Ichigo should scale beyond Yuha. Yuha was afraid of his Bankai. Yuha had the ability of the actual Soul King. Now, most people would say, but now I'm not crazy. I actually have Yamamoto and Stellar. I don't think Yamamoto is universal. I think when Yamamoto said he would use the heat of the sun to destroy the Soul Society, it's a passive feat. He's not actually going to, because his attack wasn't affecting the Muken, okay? So he's not actually affecting beyond the planet of the Soul Society. It's just having that much power in there is clearly a star level ability, and maybe you could argue he's higher. But without context, I think that the reason Ichigo is here is the Soul King in the original novels took the entire existence of the universe, split it into 3, and if you argue each universe is infinite, which you do have statements for at least Hueco Mundo, then you could say low multiversal. But because Ichigo Ichigo couldn't really do anything against Yuha when he destabilized. Yuha kind of is pulling a Kaguya feat where he's utilizing the linchpin technique and imbalancing to destroy everything rather than attack potency itself. So that should be clear there. But even then, we shouldn't be upset because Ichigo still is in the cosmic tier where I might even be willing to upgrade him into a more favorable cosmic tier or even low multiversal. Once we get more context from the next 1,000-year Blood War, I want to see where Kubo is trying to take this because it's clear he is using crazier feats and more explanations for the anime adaptation. And because the anime and the novel is the reason why I have Ichigo in the cosmic tier. I actually think if it actually came down to a fight, despite Ichigo having less attack potency, I think his defense overall and adaptability and experience actually might win him a battle against Cell. Because speed-wise, I think Cell and Ichigo are actually the same. but I think that Ichigo might have this W because of his soul-based abilities and hacks, which Cell can deal with. But I think what really gives Ichigo the edge is that Ichigo has beaten beings who have thousands of years of experience, whereas Cell, I wouldn't say Cell can. Now, if Cell gets time to adapt in the battle, Cell will probably win in under a minute. But if Ichigo is able to adapt his abilities, or is at least giving a slight amp, or if we make their attack power and speed at least equalize, Ichigo has a chance to win. But it's going to be very, very extreme near-death difficulty for him. But if you had to ask me who I think would win, maybe Ichigo, because Cell gets cocky and Ichigo's power skyrockets when he's emotional. But who knows? But logically speaking, ignoring all that, yeah, Cell just kind of mauls him. Seiya, we all know. Now, we're going to go to the next tier in the next stream. We're going to be saving the next one for the next stream, guys, so we can enjoy it and take our time and not go through it. But I have some other obligations and duties to take care of. So, with that being said, I want to thank everyone who came through the stream. Sorry I was a little behind on the stream, but I'll definitely make it up for you guys the next time. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this stream here. Leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. Share it with your buddies here as well. And I'll be making sure to see you guys next time. I am going to address a couple comments here before I finalize out. So, one thing, I got a question mark from the cool Weber, Kid Boo, and then another one said, I mean, threat to the universe can just mean threatening all life inside of it, not destroying the macrocosm for Kid Boo. So, just a guy who loves fiction, I'm going to give some clarification. So, the interesting thing about that is that it's not the fact that Kid Boo is a threat. There's categories. Frieza was a threat to the universe, Cell was a threat to the universe, and in Kid Buu. Here's the difference though. When we look at Frieza, Cell, and Kid Buu, there's the way the series introduced these guys was a lot different. So I'm gonna kind of give you a quick explanation. So to kind of explain this better is that the way it looks at it, my friend, is Frieza was a threat because he was a galactic emperor. The whole universe knows who he was, okay? So that's the equivalent of saying Vladimir Putin is a threat to, like, let's like say if Vladimir Putin had like his hands on a bunch of weapons or something and had bad intentions, or I don't know, some guy, or Joseph Stalin came back to life. You'd say Joseph Stalin is a threat to the Earth. Doesn't mean he could blow up the Earth in one shot, but given that Frieza has performed galaxy level feats in the anime, it goes to show that he definitely, if over time, probably could be a threat to the stabilized economy of the universe, is what King Kai was likely inferring. Plus, it was early Dragon Ball. Then we have Cell, who literally was gaining a battle power of infinity. Cell has infinite stamina. He does not get tired. He just gets injured, which affects how much his output is. Imagine if I could generate infinite energy with my arm. Imagine if I could do infinite reps on the bench press with my arm, but you break my arm. Well, now you breaking my arm affects my leverage, and now although I don't get tired through stamina, I get tired through injury. So that's the difference there. And then for Kid Buu, specifically Kid Buu has been claimed to be the strongest Majin in the anime adaptation. It's been implied through interviews with Toriyama. It's been implied in the recent manga showings in the Moro arc that Kid Buu had latent god ki in him, and none of the other Buus had tapped into that access. And it's also been stated that the other individuals like Gohan and Gotenks influenced him, so he couldn't let out his chaotic power he deeply held within him. Hence why his power spiked. Goku and Vegeta noticed, but then he suppressed it immediately. Obviously, Kid Buu is really a crazy being. In that case, we do know Fat Buu, according to Toriyama's interview, was a threat and could have naturally just destroyed the entire Kaioshin realm. And since we know he could destroy the Kaioshin realm, then we know that that is clearly showing universal range. The Kaioshin realm sits on a higher dimensional axis in terms of its existence, though it has three-dimensional components, but as a result, it is a specialized dimension. Kid Buu, yes, Correct. The Vegeta scales is on point. Kid Buu is a different beast. Even Goku said he should have fused with Vegeta to fight him. Correct. Goku never actually could have beaten Kid Buu. I'm going to pull up the original Japanese before I go, just to show people that even Goku was a bit frustrated and flustered while fighting Kid Buu, and even admitted, dang, I tried to be all cool. The fusion could have done it. I guess I underestimated him. And Vegeta's like, wait, what? Vegeta was shocked because Vegeta thought, I thought you had this. You're Super Saiyan 3. That's like the ultimate Saiyan. Yeah, I thought so too, Vegeta, but... And Goku's over here like, yeah, I thought so too, Vegeta, but... Yeah, I don't know. This Kid Buu is way stronger than I thought. Yeah, it's like, Goku is shocked. He did not know Kid Buu was that strong, and if you watch the anime adaptation, Kid Buu is laughing the entire time. Goku shoots out a full blast Kamehameha at Super Saiyan 3, and Kid Buu is literally sitting there going... And then looks at Goku and goes... sticks his tongue out. Kid Buu is fighting Goku and starts dancing and shaking his hips because he's like, bro, you're mad weak. Think about it. Because, and then don't be dismayed by the other rumors, because if Gohan was really that much stronger than Goku, we already know he's not, because Elder Kai made a statement that Goku and Vegeta are the top 2 greatest strengths in the living and the death, because Vegeta had just came back to life. Actually, Vegeta was, I think Vegeta was dead. Yeah, Vegeta was dead. So he said in the living and the dead, Goku's the strongest in the living, because Elder Kai gave his life to him, and then Vegeta was the strongest of the dead. Gohan wasn't dead yet. So in that context, if it had to, it probably would go Goku, Gohan, Vegeta. Or Gohan, Goku tied for first and second, and then Vegeta third. The only reason Gohan would beat Goku is because Gohan has more stamina. But if Goku could close out the fight before he gets tired in a Super Saiyan 3, then Goku wins. Because V-Jump guys have confirmed that Buu absorbed power on par with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, implying Ultimate Gohan was intended to be the same strength as Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which does make a lot of sense. Gohan had no training and just kind of had his power unlocked for him. But again, I just want to kind of settle that once and for all with everyone. I'm going to give you guys the final piece to the information, and then I think that should settle it. But yes, Goku did indeed say that he was a little too cocky and he should have just dealt with Majin Buu sooner. Let's find that scan where it says that. Here it is. So the original Japanese scan is right here, guys. It's still loading. So this is the original official Japanese scan where Goku is talking to Vegeta, and it's just showing that. Thank you, Bo Scotty. I'm glad you made it through the stream, though we are going to be ending in just a few minutes here. I just wanted to give an explanation for just giving clarification to just the guy who loves fiction, and I just wanted to just clarify that to you, my friend, so that way you at least kind of understand why I placed them there. Because basically everyone I placed on this list has a reason. It's none of it is due to bias. Usually it's due cumulative information. But again, if you want more context, I did make a video exclusively describing the Dragon Ball cosmology. That will give you a better idea of how it scales overall. Let's see, if we refresh this page, will it give us it faster? I wonder. Yeah. So anyway, the servers are pretty slow in Japan for what I'm using to generate this image. But yeah, this is the image that Vegeta Scales was talking about. This is the official Japanese scan. Goku is expressing here. Actually, if we grab our Google Lens, which I can, and I can grab this statement here, we could translate it. You could say, damn it, I could have done it in one shot if it was Patara. Maybe I was trying too hard. Well, actually, the context here is he's saying, I tried to be too cool. Viz also gives that translation roughly. So hopefully that gives some clarification, guys. So there, you guys can see that. I know not everyone can see what I'm seeing, so I'll kind of show it differently. But yeah, if we go to the actual site it took me to, yeah, Goku says here, and if I go to translate, yeah, that's it. That's what he's saying right here. So if you guys want, you can see it. Yeah, and then it shows here too, an image here. It takes me, I don't know why it takes me there. Shows here too that this is actually it. And Goku is regretting it. So basically he could have, so no, Goku could not have beaten Kid Buu. He underestimated Kid Buu. And that's it. Kid Buu is literally, and Goku says, oh, he's getting a kick out of this. He's just fooling around. Kid Buu's not taking this serious at all. So again, and Super Saiyan 3's power in Super Exciting Guides was described to be able to, you know, transcend, or rather be felt and shake the universe. And that includes the afterlife, because even the Kaioshins were like, there's no way that his power could be felt out here, because they're technically outside of the macrocosm. They're in the Kaioshin realm. They're not in the macrocosm at all. They're outside the universe. They're in a higher dimension, as stated by Daizenshu 4. Yet Goku's power is literally transcending time and space and going to that point, which is crazy. And that's the Super Saiyan 3. And Super Saiyan 3 Goku is stronger than Fat Majin Buu, who could destroy the Kaioshin realm, which is a higher dimension. So even then, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, and again, Kid Buu was stronger than the Spirit Bomb. And for those who don't remember, Kid Buu was stronger than the Spirit Bomb. And Kid Buu was stronger than the Spirit Bomb because they said he held the Spirit Bomb back, which held the force of the whole universe. But for those who don't remember, I'm going to give you guys just one more wake-up call real quick. Just real super quick for those who don't remember. If you don't remember, there was a specific scene that did happen where Goku, and this is for people who don't remember, Goku specifically, while holding back, said, I can't. Remember, he had the power of Gohan, all of the afterlife, and this is a full-powered Gohan. Android 17, Gohan, Goten and Trunks, Piccolo, everyone on Earth, Vegeta himself, everyone gave their energy to the Spirit Bomb. Every last person, even King Yama said, hold on, Goku, that has power from the afterlife. Goku still couldn't overcome Kid Buu. So Kid Buu's holding back something that held the force of the universe, as stated, and was stated to be a universal attack, because it said force of the universe. So it was able to, the Spirit Bomb Goku used on Kid Buu was a universal level attack. Beyond that, it was strong enough to destroy the Dragon Ball macrocosm, which is low complex, multiversal, and yet Goku needed to go. He got all his power back, meaning a Zenkai boost, and had to go Super Saiyan, Mastered Super Saiyan, just to finish pushing it. So Kid Buu was like, I could barely hold this back. And Goku's like, well, let me just add a 500 to 5,000 times multiplier, because, you know, Mastered Super Saiyan is way beyond 50 times, and then I'm gonna blast you. Bam! And even after doing that, if you guys read the actual manga, after all of that, guess what? Even after all that, and he was only in that form, and after all of that, guess who is still exhausted already? Goku. Absolutely exhausted already. He got all his power back in it as Zenkai, and literally had to spend 100% of it just to get rid of Kid Buu. So again, that kind of gives you guys an idea of why Kid Buu was one of the craziest threats. And but yeah, I will end it there, guys. That pretty much settles it. And to answer the last question here, oh yeah, Goku is stronger when he's pushed to the brink for sure. I will say to answer Roz's question, Sargon versus Limit Break Jiren. We should keep that for the next stream because Jiren is going to make an appearance in Sargon as well. And I actually want to amp it up because we obviously know if Sargon versus Jiren actually happened, Jiren wouldn't even try to fight him. He would be able to sense that this is not somebody I can fight. I can't even kill him because Sargon can't be erased. So given he would be fighting as a Xenoverse version of Zamasu in terms of like immortality, Vegeta would just say, nah, I give up, bro. Jiren would just be like, nah, you got it, bro. But anyway, that being said, next stream, we actually might talk about Xeno Goku or Xeno Jiren versus Sargon. Now that's going to be interesting. I already know who my money's on, by the way. He has braids. Yeah. Black guy wins. Anyway, no, I'm just... oops, spoiler alert. Anyway, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Roz, everyone else, RJ, everyone stop. Thank you for streaming by. Guys, the next stream we plan on doing is going to be another next week on Thursday. I'm going to have that Thanksgiving off, obviously. So for those of you who have time to stop by on that Thanksgiving, if I'm not doing anything or if I'm not busy, I'll try to give a stream in that day. If not, then I'll get it in the day before. So I'll give you guys a full update the day prior. We're going to be trying to get a video pumped out as well for you guys and stay more consistent on the stream. Be expecting you guys real soon. Thanks everyone, and you guys have a great day. This is Atari H&B, and I am signing off. Have a good night, everyone. Peace. Wait, that's the wrong...